walk us through the Emirates pitch. How did it start? What happened? Who went for the pitch?
Sure. So the thing about the Emirates pitch is that it's very strange. At the same time, we've benefited because of a problem.
So, what's brown, what's sweet, and what's irresistible? I wish it were me, but of course not. And on that note, welcome to the Luxbridge Show. On behalf of John Spino, our CEO, Vincent, our director, and me, D. Shetty, your host. Today, we've got someone totally different. Totally different. I can't tell you how much. An architect who has a passion for chocolate. How often do you hear that? Someone who studied really hard, came up with a wonderful design, which we'll speak about further down the road, and all of a sudden decided that, you know what, I want to be the Willy Wonka of UAE. And it's none other than the brand owner, one of the brand owners actually, of VOCCA, Mr. Ashwin. Ashwin, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Dhiraj. I would like you to go back to the first statement and complete it, though. You didn't tell me what is brown, what is irresistible.
VOCCA.
Oh, yeah, okay.
VOCCA.
Glad we cleared that out.
Glad we cleared that out. Absolutely, exactly. Absolutely. Me, no, not yet. Go on. What's your story? Tell us all about it.
Oh my God. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. My story, I think it's very similar to every second generation child story in Dubai, citizen of the world, trying to figure out where he belongs. Is it here? Is it back home? I believe neither. But being born and raised in the UAE, it's always a dream of mine to be a part of the country, to give back to the part of the country. However cliche as might it sound, but be a piece of the economy that's growing, and I think that desire came from a sense of belonging, so that I can make something of my own, so I can call this my home, So that kind of brought me to where we are right now. So I'm the co-founder of VOCCA, UAE's homegrown chocolate brand, and we're all about creating fine chocolates.
Awesome. So did this calling come to you? Did you come to it? How did it all begin?
I mean, like I said earlier, I'm an absolute fraud. I have no understanding or knowledge of F&B whatsoever. But that being said, what I do know is I love chocolates. I love attention to detail, and I love crafting good quality products. My background primarily is that of an architect. Like I've mentioned, I've worked around 4.5 years in this region. Right. And in 2018, when I was thrown out of the company with no way to a means to an end, that's when me and my partner combined forces and started VOCCA. So VOCCA, when we started off, even though it was chocolates, we were primarily focused into corporate gifting. But the goal was always to build a consumer brand, a premium luxury chocolate brand. And 4 years down the line, we hope that we are making some strides and reaching our way.
Very Steve Jobs-esque, right?
It's not the goal, though.
Wow. So let me ask you, what are your ingredients of success?
Ingredients of success?
With a dash of chocolate, of course.
Yeah, I mean, cocoa butter. No, I'm kidding. But I believe that every day is a challenge for us, especially because we don't belong to this industry. Every day is something new to learn, be it about the ingredients, literal ingredients that we use, or if it's about how we adapt to a certain requirement, or even kind of, fight our way through this overcrowded industry. We try to make our way by using innovation as our, trump card. So I don't have multiple ingredients to a success, but our key ingredient, or why we have been what we have been, is because our willingness to innovate and do things, out of the box.
Out of the box, innovate. Very similar to kind of what we have in the real estate space. Very crowded. There's an agent around every corner.
Yes.
The joke is half of UAE's population is full of agents.
Yes.
Right. It's interesting because you take something as generic as chocolate, and then you personalize it.
Yes.
Right? So I can tell as you speak and you talk about chocolate, what is the personal touch that you bring to your your chocolate?
So every flavor that we curate or develop, it's basically letting our inner child go crazy. Recently we had a launch of this flavor called pistachio Oman chips. It's so crazy, but it works so well. But the inception of that flavor came out because we want to do something stupid, something fun, something that we could just mess around with. But of course, we came up with the idea of Oman chips, but our amazing chefs kind of put it together and made it palatable.
It's a team.
So, things like this, doing things like this is what keeps us going.
What are the common myths in your industry, which are true and which are untrue?
Well, the common myth is that people often say, why does your chocolate melt? We have a lot of premium brands that doesn't melt. And can you make your chocolate unmeltable? So what I would like to say is that if a chocolate melts, that's real chocolate, because real chocolates do melt. And if something doesn't melt, I think it's high time you question the authenticity and the quality of the product. So that is one myth I would like to bust. And secondly is that white chocolate is not chocolate. Well, that is a controversial one, but of course, who am I to judge? End of the day, everything has a space in everyone's heart.
Absolutely. So you finished one career, right, as an architect, and then you started a new one. So your journey so far was just starting. What are the career highlights so far? What are the highlights have been?
Well, in my past life as an architect, one of the biggest feathers in my cap, I would say, is that I was one of the concept designers who designed the W Hotel in Barasti Beach, as you might have seen if you're part of Dubai. Who hasn't been to Barasti?
Who hasn't been to Barasti?
So that was literally my blood, sweat, tears in the first 4 years of my work as an architect. I've also been part of a couple of projects like the SLS Hotel, also another monument in the city of Dubai. So those have been a highlight in my past life. Coming to my new life as a chocolatier, within a span of 4 years, we have been now proudly being served in Emirates First Class. So you get VOCCA in Emirates First Class. And to compete with brands like Lind and all of those big shots, and to carve out a space for ourselves and do in a span of 4 years is something I believe is unimaginable, and which better platform to showcase our product, especially as a child born and raised in UAE, than Emirates itself. So
absolutely,
I think that's the biggest win as of now. And of course, there's more yet to come. That's under the wraps.
Always more to come. That's one of our slogans. Every time somebody in our office successfully concludes a deal or a transaction, we always say congratulations and more to come.
Absolutely. Love it.
But that's a beautiful brand association. So anyone who's traveling on Emirates in the first class cabin, if you're biting into juicy VOCCA, here's the man. Or part of the team.
Part of the team.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And who's brought that to you? What else? What is the next step forward?
The next step forward is global domination. Well, we have just managed to cross regions, cross barriers, and we have recently partnered with the amazing third-party aggregator called Noon to reach and launch in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, KSA. Amen. So our products are now available exclusively on Noon across Riyadh and Jeddah. That has been an immense achievement, again, within a span of a short time. Sometimes, I look back and think that what have we done to enjoy so much of success in such a short time? And then I kind of understand, because there's been times where, we literally had to make things work just to feed our team, and because without the team there is no VOCCA. Okay. So literally bleed ourselves, work, ensure that we take nothing back home, only to kind of keep our team motivated and happy. And I feel right now we are having that 5 minutes of fame, and we're kind of basking in it.
And long may it continue.
Thank you.
Definitely. It's interesting, right? Noon is a very, very famous brand name that we have here, part of the Emaar group, and Emirates. So it's lovely how the pieces are falling together, right? For someone who is born and raised here, he has been propped up and supported by brands within, homegrown brands.
Yeah.
So how do you envision yourself becoming a brand within the UAE going further?
Well, like I said, the market is quite crowded within the chocolate industry. But I think what we are trying to achieve is to build a community that really loves chocolates, that resonates chocolates. People come up to me and say that, what, Ashwin, I would like to see this flavor. And we are a company that can make it happen within a couple of days. We want to listen out to what people want and adapt to that and innovate and come out with flavors what the people want. And I believe that kind of community-based brands, especially in the UAE, is very, very few, so to speak. So we're trying to carve out a niche for ourselves within that. So
that's a perfect segue. Everyone, please go follow him, follow his organization on Instagram and every other social media that you're on. If you have any requests, you never know, right? It might just be customized to your flavor. It might be the flavor that everyone wants to have.
Absolutely.
So yeah, feel free. I mean, give him a shout, and maybe his cooks and his great minds can come together.
100%.
But how do you, what is the process for coming to a flavor?
Well, like I said, just let loose. But the process of how we make chocolate is that, of course, the cocoa in itself is harvested, it's fermented and then roasted. Post which we conch it, we grind it basically with cocoa butter to get a very silky smooth texture, which is then molded into your mold of choice. Of course, the fillings is then later added on, but the whole process of making chocolate is not rocket science. It's quite simple or straightforward, so to speak. But of course, to make fine chocolate, to make a really good product, it takes a team. And when you curate a flavor, when you develop a flavor, it's, I would say, common sense sometimes. What would you pair with a good wine? Something salty to go with the savoriness. So similarly, when you develop something sweet, you try to pair it with, let's say, a dark chocolate so that it doesn't punch you too hard. So a lot of common sense, a little bit of creativity, and a whole lot of stupidity. So
that's an interesting ingredient to success.
Absolutely.
Or ingredients to success. You have congratulations on your store in Silicon Oasis.
Yes.
Dubai Silicon Oasis.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
When we started out as a bootstrapped brand in 2019, the dream was always to be a B2C or a consumer brand, so to speak. You have a lot of big boys in the market, but unfortunately, we coming from our humble beings couldn't afford to set up retail stores and couldn't afford to be drowned in the noise of Dubai. So we set up a factory in Ajman. We focused mainly on corporate gifting, B2B, primarily because we wanted to scale our business, create the revenue so that we would have enough funds for ourselves. Flash forward today, after 4 years, we have understood that there's a demand for the brand to be on a B2C space. We have got people coming to us and asking us where we are. They would like to interact with the brand on a one-off level. So we thought this was the time to really go all in on the B2C vision that we had 4 years back. So this year onwards, we have been effectively doing things to activate our brand and build that consumer-centric brand, build that community. And as part of that, we found that Silicon Oasis being an area with a mixed community, you've got Arabs, you've got your Asians, you've got all kinds of people, your Philippines, all of these people can come together and experience, and we get real-time feedback from people of all walks of life in Silicon Oasis. So that's also a great learning for us. We know what works and what doesn't. So the store has been doing decently well so far. And of course, we're looking to scale up even more.
Knock on wood, as one does. So let me talk to Ashwin, the entrepreneur now. How scary was it to take the first step?
I mean, it still is. It still is very scary, But I think the key is to be a little crazy, to have that kind of delusion, every day, because you never know. We are on a wave, but as waves go, there's a high and there's a low. So if there is a high, we know there's a low coming right there. So we are definitely scared every day, but the willingness to just keep going, to take a step forward, I think that's what keeps us going.
I love that. I just love that you said that, because not to draw a forced parallel, but it's this afternoon, our CEO, John Spinu, was just talking about that. He's like, when you wake up,
Yeah.
we're basically, as an entrepreneurs or quasi-entrepreneurs, you're doing a very tough job, right? Nothing is given to you.
Yeah.
And nothing's handed down to you or on a platter. So it is scary. You do wake up, but you have to keep going.
100%.
Day in, day out. Exactly how you described it. I mean, you literally almost quoted him.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
I mean, I think that's because that's what everyone goes through. Every entrepreneur goes through the same thing. And, the sooner you realize, the better for you, things are not always going to be a bed full of roses. So
Right.
there's going to be some thorns along the way.
Absolutely. So here's a question. Now, as a broker / entrepreneur, from me, what advice would you give me? What's your top 3 advice from me, from your lens, to do better in my domain or any such domain per se?
I mean, it kind of ties into what I just mentioned. I wouldn't say top 3, but from the top of my mind, I would say that motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Discipline is key. There's going to be times that you don't want to do this shit, but if you want to make it happen, you need to keep moving forward. So don't rely on motivation, because that won't last very long. So build a discipline, because that's the only way you're going to get shit done.
I have to quote John again. I have to quote John, who quoted someone else who said that if your why is big enough, the how and what follows.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that leads me to the next question. What is your why?
Why? Because it's a deep desire to build something that I can call myself or my own, especially in a region like UAE. So the desire was always there. The question was, what will I create? I happened to stumble into the world of chocolates. I happened to be an entrepreneur, completely accidental, with no sort of background within this industry, or no sort of background being an entrepreneur, or not coming from a business family. We're just thrown into the deep ends. And that is kind of exciting to me right now. And, almost 5 years down the line, I can't imagine a different life, where things are so exciting. You have so much freedom, but at the same time, there's so much uncertainty there, So I kind of enjoy that right now. And I'm just riding on that.
So, journey-wise, you dive into the deep end, right? Now, the deep end can really get deep,
Yeah.
right? Can really get murky. So, how do you come up for air?
I think that's when having partners help, because it gets very scary. And if you don't have a shoulder to rely on, or someone to kind of resonate with what you do, because neither your friends nor your family will understand, because they're going to question you. They're going to be like, why did you do this? This is your decision. So the only person that's going to be by your side is your partner, if you happen to have one. Not everyone is lucky to have one, but some people can pull it off without a partner as well. So, props to them. But I've had the good fortune to have my partners who understand, who kind of resonate with me. We vibe on a same level, and we make sure we don't kill each other on a bad day as well. So that really helps me to come out of the dark end and keeps me sane.
Lovely. So, this high and low, would you say it's as addictive as the chocolate itself?
100%. 100%. No doubt about that.
Tell me more about it.
Like I said, when you think that nothing's going to happen, that's when you're invited by Emirates to pitch in your chocolates to first class. When you think summer's your slowest month, and you'll be having absolutely no business with Dubai is gone for vacation, that's when you're going viral on Noon, and you're doing about 4 or 5 figures of bars on a daily basis. So that kind of uncertainty is what kind of keeps you thinking, what if I had paused, what would have happened?
Right.
If I thought nothing would be happening this month, or if I thought that nothing would be being achieved in the coming months, and I had taken a break, I wouldn't have been able to achieve this. So on the lowest of the lowest is when you get your highs. So
Wow, this is the perfect clip for a sales discussion. Really, just when you think nothing's working for you,
yeah, that's when it hits you.
that's when you have to really keep pushing,
Yeah,
right? The wall,
100%,
once you
yeah.
hit the wall. So now I'm really curious. Walk us through the Emirates pitch and how you guys, how did it start? What happened? Who went for the pitch?
Sure. So the thing about the Emirates pitch is that it's very strange. At the same time, we've benefited because of a problem. Right now, there is a global shortage for cocoa. Cocoa is at an all-time high. It's massively expensive. It's more expensive than gold. In March, April months, 1 ton of cocoa went up to almost $10,000. So it's insanely expensive. And at this point, the bigger players, the big boys, they kind of took a big hit. And they were running out of raw materials and supplies because their volumes were huge. When that was happening, there was an opening there in Emirates, because the brand that was already doing that, I don't want to take names as of now, but the brand that was doing there could not supply to them. So suddenly Emirates did something amazing. They started to seek out for local homegrown brands. And that's when we came in. When we went in, of course, there are other players as well in the region. But our quality, number one. Number two, our packaging. And of course, end of the day, the pricing. But beyond that, the primary two factors kind of helped us get our foot through the door. And lo and behold, we are there. And I would say that it was such a surreal moment because, you go for a lot of meetings. You go with a meeting, you go for a meeting expecting a no, and that way you're not demotivated. So you go there expecting a no and we're like, what's the worst that could happen? And surprisingly, you hear a yes, and I think that's the best yes I've heard in a while. And it's so loud that it's still bang on ringing in my ear still right now. And see, it might be short-lived. We collaborating with such brands, but this is there, the mark has been made. And with this, we're going to, of course, channel through multiple levels of brand placements. We're going to be in multiple areas. We've got so much in the pipeline and we're just getting started.
Awesome. So the stake has been driven into the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Props to Emirates for giving everyone an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Fair chance.
Yes.
Right. And props to you guys for walking through the door and actually closing the deal.
Absolutely.
Right. I can just imagine you guys coming out, going down to the car park and just going, yes. Yeah. That must have been some evening.
Absolutely. It was like a scene right out of Pursuit of Happiness, that.
Oh, yes.
Exactly the one.
Yes, that I remember the interview scene, right? Right out of Pursuit of Happiness. Right. That is indeed a great analogy to have, a great comparison to have. So now here you are, right? You've got these key brands in. You are innovative in terms of your approach. What keeps you motivated, right, to try something even more crazier?
Like I said, I try not to rely on motivation.
Right.
But when you see an amazing response from the consumers,
right,
when you realize that the effort you've put in to create something and that has been so well received, and I've been so fortunate that I've also now started being more visible on social media, which means that people have direct access to tell how they feel about our products. So because of that avenue, I've been getting real-time responses. Now seeing that is just making me more and more hungry to develop more and more flavors. So, that's how the inception of the pistachio almond chips came out. My partner one day just went like, why don't we do this? Because it's an OG flavor. We are a UAE brand. This is a UAE product. Let's just, bang on collab. Secondly, now with Diwali coming, we've got a lot of Indian infused flavors. But every day we want to develop something new. Of course, it's not possible because my chefs would literally curse at me if we do that on a daily basis. But we want to create something every day because we get some amazing real-time feedback. And that keeps us really, really motivated, really, really, hungry and just wants us to keep going.
Quickly, everyone who's come new into the UAE, walk into your nearest supermarket or outlet and have a packet of Oman chips, right? You'll get the idea as to where he's going with that. And then, of course, there's always walk around at any time that you want to access them.
Absolutely.
I want to understand. Now, you said that you're a bootstrapped organization, right? So how do you as an entrepreneur then... money. What is your relationship with money?
So I think the biggest factor is that we tend to, of course, think with our wallet, right? You go to buy something, you think that, okay, that is not affordable, so I kind of stay away. Now, on a personal front, that is fine. That's how you should be doing. But on a business front, when you start thinking with your wallet, then you will not grow, because you need to outgrow your wallet. Because we were not from a business background, we, kind of always thought twice to take a step, be it, let's say, spending 5,000 dirhams for a marketing budget, or even just onboarding a new salesperson, or just doing absolutely anything, buying a new machine. We always thought with a wallet. But what we later understood is that we need to outgrow the mentality, because this is not for us. There is something bigger than us, which is our brand. There's something bigger than us, that the company, that the legacy we're trying to build, and no amount of money will be enough for that. And that's when we realize that irrespective of how much of money that comes in, we ensure to invest or reinvest at least 70% of that back into the company, to be it innovation in terms of machines, be it in terms of team. Even right now, we are moving into a new facility that is about 10 times bigger. God knows how we'll afford that, maybe 1 year down the line, but we don't care. We know that this is a need of the hour. And just thinking about our wallets right now will do us no good, and we'll just be, at a standstill at the same position. So I kind of urge entrepreneurs to think beyond their wallet, because we might have a smaller mindset, but on a personal front, that's fine. But if you really want to scale, then you got to think at that level.
I like that word scale,
Yeah.
because scale definitely means reaching out.
100%.
Right? A large distribution, a large network, people get to know you. You're obviously very active on social media, and that's, I think, one more takeaway that everyone should understand, that now social media is a channel of distribution.
Yes, absolutely. I think if I had done one thing differently, it would have been build my social media at the early stages, or even test out my product through social media. But it's never say never. I think it's better late than never.
100%. I mean, it's so beautifully put by you a little earlier in the thing that, you took the plunge,
Yeah.
the deep end.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places to be, because you're usually neck deep or head deep or even really deep into what's going to happen next. Do you worry a lot?
100%. I mean, look at my head. But jokes apart, I think that's a necessary evil. There is a yin to a yang. So if there's a lot of freedom, it comes at a price. I mean, I'm sure even with you, you're always thinking, right? Your mind is always on the go. You're thinking on how to make things better, how to enhance that customer experience, make a better product, how to improve that pitch. Always working. Your shop might close at 10 o'clock, but then your mind is completely racing all day, every day. So I think that's the evil that we face.
Is there a work-life balance?
I mean, I try to. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this from my wife, but I really try. But I think that it's very important that you have such a supportive partner, especially my wife, that she understands that this is the need of the hour. This is at this point of time, he needs to work, so let him be. So
what's her name? If I may ask?
Ashika.
Yeah. All right, Ashika and Ashwin.
Absolutely.
So Ashika, shout out to you. He does hold you in high regard. Just so we're clear about that.
Thank you for that.
Why not use social media and this platform for that too, right?
Sure.
And anyways, if she's upset, you can always bring her chocolates.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to refrain from chocolate as much as possible, because right now chocolate is work to me, but at least there's one person in the family who's looking forward to it. So
Absolutely
that's a win.
right. So, just to take a little bit further from work-life balance, right? So you are aware that there's a lot of time that you need to invest. Okay, you are aware that you need to take things in 10 different directions. So how do you choose your direction?
As of when we started out, even sometimes to this day as well, we have to wear multiple hats. There's no one way to deal with it. Of course, as we scale, you can hire people, you can onboard people for specific tasks. But I guess we are right now at a point where it's all a founder's approach where you try to take things by your hand and try to solve the problem personally. Again, that is not a very effective way to do it, but like since it's our baby, we're finding hard to let go, let go of the ropes. So right now, with the scaling that's happening with the company, we are slowly infusing or forcing people to create a wedge between us and the problem, so that we can kind of distance ourselves and resolve or look at bigger challenges and bigger problems for the brand. So
Right.
it's hard to let go, to be honest. I think especially this is very early on for us as well.
Yes.
So we are also just learning as we go.
Right, because you have to differentiate between the day-to-day
Yeah.
and the now,
Yeah.
and then the vision.
Yes.
Right, so that's 3 points of the triangle,
Absolutely.
which you probably have to go round and round and round.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're relying on choosing a smarter management approach to it, a different team.
Absolutely. I mean, the team makes it or breaks it. Without an effective team, you're nothing. So we ensure to invest in people, and that is the only way out. I mean, that is the only way you can have some peace of mind. So if you try to skimp out on, let's say, in terms of what you're paying them or some kind of talent, if you don't really invest in the people you're hiring, I think you're gonna suffer in the long run. And we also follow the fact that we hire slowly but we fire fast. So hire slow, fire fast. Why? Because if we think that sound is not working out, out of the door, on to the next one. But once we have someone, we really hold them close. There are people who have been with us. Our chef and the core team has been there with us since day one.
Okay.
Which has actually kind of shown in the product as well, because that kind of flavor, that kind of profile, our customers from day one is still our customer right now, because they come to VOCCA for a certain taste or quality, and we are fortunate to say that it's still the same. So,
Consistency.
yes.
So what has been your investment strategy? I understand you're saying that you shouldn't skimp out, and you invest, or you choose to invest very smartly in man and machinery.
Yes.
Right, and you obviously have a large focus on man.
Yes.
Because machines just do so much.
Yes.
But there are certain parts of chocolate making which is based on passion and which is based on a science, and you need a good smart chef to
Yes.
figure and balance it out. So what is your investment strategy
In terms of people, you mean?
in terms of people, in terms of if I had given you $100,
Yeah.
what's your split to people versus product versus stuff like that? How do you decide that?
Sure. So if you had given me $100, what
Right.
I would do is I would take at least 70% in investing into the people, because machineries can be bought, I mean, you can't go wrong with a machinery. You know that if you're buying a Lamborghini, you know it's a Lamborghini. It's a Lamborghini for a reason. It's already proved and tested. But we will have to invest a major chunk of that money into the people, because it's only a trying and testing method. There is no one way to deal with it. So we, of course, always bring in people, consultants, or we bring in experts. And I always try to be not the smartest person in the room, because I will not evolve, I will not grow. So we always bring experts to evaluate them. But on a more serious note, the biggest crux of the people we hire, we make sure that they resonate with us, that we can actually talk to them, they understand what our vision is. Because for them, it might be just working inside four walls. But if they don't know what the goal or what we're trying to achieve, the output will also be limited. So we ensure that beyond a skill set, even skill set to a point can be taught.
Yes.
But beyond skill set, they should be willing to kind of learn and grow with us. And that makes a great hire.
Brilliant. So for everyone who's listening and watching, obviously we're all about decoding the dream, right? The dream could be different for everyone.
Yep.
Okay. But primarily we're about decoding the dream within Dubai. So you're bullish obviously on our growth.
Yeah.
As a country which is so beautiful, so vibrant, such a melting pot of so many different nationalities. What brings about this positive, bullish nature in you?
I think, again, it goes back to the people around you. You're only as good as your surroundings. I go home, I have a happy wife. I go to work, my partners are fantastic. I go to my factory, my team is amazing. So seeing that positivity all around is important. And of course, you are a factor in why they're happy as well. So in case your team is not happy, that will impact you. And if they're not happy, that is also because of you. So, you got to find that equilibrium where you need to make them happy so you're happy. So you finding happiness for them is in a way being selfish because you are doing that for yourself.
Very true, very true. So that is one way to step forward
Yeah.
into realizing it for them. Hence, you realize it for yourself.
Correct.
Right. And of course, a booming economy definitely helps.
100%.
Right.
But with Dubai, we know that, like I said, it's a wave. When things are high, things are always low as well. So it's about holding on to your beliefs and your belief system, because not every day is going to be fantastic. When it's low, and if you hold on to that tide, you know that you're going to go up. So with Dubai, as amazing as Dubai is, things can go crazy at times. But I think that's the beauty of that instability, is that you know that somewhere down the line, there's going to be big bucks.
Absolutely. And it always delivers.
Yes.
Right. It always delivers because we have a larger vision.
Yes.
And we follow through with our vision over here. And that is what encourages entrepreneurship.
100%.
Right? Otherwise, why would somebody who's an architect all of a sudden decide to take the entrepreneurial
Absolutely.
step if the environment wasn't so conducive?
Correct.
So props to that. I mean,
Dubai makes it happen. It's got that
Exactly.
infective
That's a
energy
brilliant line.
where it just makes you feel like, you're delusional, man. I think you can do it.
I think you can do it. Yeah, it's got a very, very positive vibe.
Yeah.
Dubai makes it happen. It makes you
Correct.
believe that it's happening.
Correct.
And that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah.
We're here for the growth. We've seen it happen. We know it's ongoing.
Yes.
And with so many people coming in and adding to it, more the merrier.
Yeah. Dubai is never satisfied the way it is. It's always developing. And that kind of inspires you to also grow along with it.
Inspirational.
So I think that's, surrounding yourself with that kind of energy means there's no way to go but up.
There is no way to go but up. So very true. And, we talked about what you have in the future. Okay. Let's talk a little, let's rewind a bit. Okay. So at what point in your architectural journey did that spark come in where you were like, I like this 9 to 5, it's all nice and good, but maybe I could be doing something different?
About 3.5 years, 4 years down the job itself, I knew that something was wrong, because I'm not a person who can sit in one place. So I need to be keep running around, I need to jump around, I need to walk around. So I'm that kind of person. But I didn't have to decide, the company decided for me. They kind of threw me out. So it was a time when, projects were low, things were not looking that good, one of those lows we're talking about, right? That's when I had to move on. They kind of threw me out, they got me fired. And with no means to an end, that's when my partner, who's also my cousin, we kind of collaborated and thought that, even he was fed up with his 9 to 5. And we thought that let's kind of seek out and see what more we can do. And I think when two forces kind of combine in a city like Dubai with a clear intention, I think that definitely,
a perfect chemistry.
Absolutely, it definitely will brew that kind of success.
Definitely. It's interesting. Every start to every great story of entrepreneurship has always been a point where someone's had enough.
Yeah.
Right? And someone said, I can do more. I don't know yet what it is, but I definitely can do more.
Yeah.
And then here we are. I believe a chef, a friend of yours who's a chef, sat you down and explained to you the intricacies of chocolate?
Absolutely. So the whole process of how this journey started was we had a requirement for chocolates. And that's when we dived into the world of chocolates. So we were trying to figure out how or what to deal. They didn't want your usual brands. They wanted something new in the market. And we were trying to navigate ourselves through this kind of market. And a close friend of mine who is a pastry chef at a huge hotel in the UAE kind of sat us down and told us the potential the market has. And with gifting culture being huge in the region, and people have a humongous sweet tooth as well in the GCC, and that helps as well. And he said that this is a good market to kind of do something like this, like chocolates. And like I said earlier, we were always craving to build something of our own. We just never knew what to do. And end of the day, this is food, who doesn't love food, who doesn't love chocolates? So that kind of emotion is there. I think everyone secretly wants to own a restaurant or run a cafe, right? So that kind of itch is always there. And when chocolates came into the equation, we were like, why not? Of course, we did a chocolate tour. We sourced the raw materials from Belgium. We curated some recipes. In the initial years, we had a factory make for us. We gave the recipes, we gave the ingredients, and they manufactured for us. And when we had given out those samples, that kind of snowballed into large orders. And we were kind of taken aback to see that kind of success in a month's time. And then we understood that, this might have some potential. And within a couple of months, COVID also struck, and we kind of took it as a blessing. Why? Because we had enough time to work on a brand, build on the story, develop the packaging. My architecture degree didn't go to waste. Could develop on the logo, packaging, and all of that. And that kind of helped us to come back and kind of push ourselves to more and bigger corporate clients, to the likes of, let's say, even Damac or even Malabar Gold or Joy Alucas, Astor Gem. So you name it, we've worked with them. We've worked with Tesla, AGMC, all of these brands. And that has been our willingness to adapt, innovate, and, of course, end of the day, it's a good quality product. All of these forces came together, and, these companies have been so fortunate to give us an opening as well. And fast forward today, here we are.
I get this very strong sense of gratitude from you. It's just awesome. And this is not you being just thankful that you got lucky. Right from the moment I shook hands with you till even now, I want to know more about it. This, I have never seen anyone have such a up and down career. 2019, then unfortunately, you get laid off. That's life. It's happened to all of us. But then again, you bounce back. You don't let it hold you down. Then comes COVID, another punch in the gut, so to speak, and then you bounce back again. And there's so much of gratitude. Ash, what's that? Where is that coming from?
I think it's how I was raised, probably.
Possibly, yeah.
Because, like I said, we come from very, very humble beings, and at the same time, we've been knocked down, and we come up. So we know that it's never fun to be knocked down. We know that even if things don't look good, we just hope that things will look good. So if I'm at a high, I know that there can be a crash. Or, God willingly, right now things have been decent for us. So, but I'm not too keen on being so brash about it. And end of the day, even just using the word success or enjoying that success kind of kills me inside. I find guilty to use the word success or just say that I've reached somewhere, because I know that there's so much more to achieve, and right now is just, like I said, our 5 minutes of fame. So if I'm basking in anything, it's just that I know that after some time it's gonna be back to hardships and tough
so if
life.
I overpraise you, it's like a moment of cringe,
I mean, I've not been taught how to
Accept
take praise, probably. So I'm learning. That's another thing I'm navigating myself to kind of learn. So let's see, maybe our next session I might be a bit more accepting.
Amen. For definitely for more success.
Absolutely.
But the reason I bring gratitude is because, as an entrepreneur, one of the things that we forget to focus on sometimes is because there's an equal amount of high and low, actually, if you see. And I like the way you're looking for that equilibrium.
Yeah.
Right? Not getting too sure of yourself, but not getting too unsure of yourself. However, there's always that time where you focus more on the downs rather than the ups.
Yeah.
But if you can, from what I understand, what you have done is you have always given gratitude, even when things were not in your place, because you saw it as an opportunity.
Yes.
Right? Which leads me to my next question. How do you spot opportunities other than someone giving you a suggestion about a taste or recipe? How do you spot opportunities?
Opportunities, the landscape of Dubai is such that if you want to make things happen, you can just go out and make it happen. So that's how we have opportunities made out for us. We grabbed it, and we kind of just walked in. I mean, it's as simple as your cold calls and just walking to the office and just meeting the right people. So I mean, there is no right or wrong way. I think you just have to make it happen. I think if you sit down and just wait for opportunities to happen, you're just gonna be sitting there, my man. You just have to step out and make things happen for you.
right?
Yeah.
Shake the tree,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And then only then do you actually get something to fall off it.
And I think, surrounding yourself with people, like-minded individuals is very important. Never isolate yourself, even though it might not be a comfort level, just go out there, meet like-minded individuals, network as much as possible. I believe there are a lot of networking organizations here in the UAE which also kind of puts you together in a room full of individuals like yourself, be it struggling or successful. Everyone has something to contribute. Every contribution is a new perception for you and a new learning, and that's how I try to stay active as much as possible, because like I said, I never want to be the smartest person in the room, because that means then I won't grow anymore. So I always love meeting new people, because that gives a fresh perception on everything I know.
So a couple of points I picked up from you.
Yeah.
Always keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
No questions asked.
No question asked.
Right? Be the most quiet person in the room. Be the one who knows the least, at least at that point in time, so you can absorb the most, basically.
Yes.
Right? Take risks. Okay. A down is never down. It's just a launching pad for an up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And all of that wrapped up in gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've summarized it so well. It seems like now that's my recipe of success. But I think in a nutshell, that's what we have been doing, and a whole lot of transparency. To be honest, I learned that from my partners. Just be open about it. If things aren't working out, if you can't do it, just tell you can't do it. There's no point kind of bullshitting people. So that is another thing I've picked up, and it's quite worked wonders.
Transparency. Very nice.
Yeah.
Say it as it is.
Yes, absolutely. On the face, if possible.
On the face as possible, yes. As softly as possible, as much
Yes,
as
of
possible.
course, yeah.
But obviously, be very open about what you feel.
Correct. And if it's a situation, then, kind of tell them what the situation is. People are more understanding than you think.
Very, very true. I think we don't give people that much credit.
Yes.
Or we assume that, they wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
But that's been your approach, to give
Absolutely.
people more props and more
Absolutely.
credit.
I mean, we are into the relationship business, you and me.
Absolutely.
People don't buy chocolates from me because it's VOCCA. They buy it primarily because it's either me or my team that's selling it. It's a relationship they have. The brand being VOCCA is just the icing on the cake. They buy properties from you because you're Dhiraj. You're an amazing gentleman to be with, to talk to. So, and that's why you've been managing that success you're having. So I think that's what we're in the relationship business.
True. I just want to ask you on a more personal side, when it comes to you as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, obviously whatever so-called earnings or income that comes in the way, do you have any similar process when it comes to your personal investments? How do you do that?
Well, it's just recently that I've managed to kind of culminate any kind of saving, so to speak, because every day whatever we get is just enough to make it through the month. I, of course, try to invest in your regular ETFs and your mutual funds and all of that.
Perfect.
But I'm also actively looking to invest in people as well. Be it my friends or families or whoever it is. If I see there's energy, there's a spark, I try to team up with them. It doesn't matter. It might not be investment in terms of money, but investment in terms of my time. I might be able to give them something that I didn't have about 5 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And that might kind of fast track their success, which might also trickle down to me.
Of course. Your seed capitaling,
Correct.
Your time, your effort, your expertise.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. And what is your view on the way our real estate markets have been growing over here? Because you've been here since day one.
Absolutely. So. I mean, I think I've seen how Dubai has grown. I've seen the Hard Rock Cafe, if you remember that.
I remember that.
So it's been an interesting perception. And people keep talking about this bubble we are in. But I think the only bubble it's there is their minds.
Very true.
Because it's always growing. And the faster you realize that and you jump on it, the better for you. Because Dubai has been that country, first of all, has done amazing things, has achieved so much, and more importantly has given that kind of secure community, that kind of living, that kind of safety. And these are the values that has added to the real estate market. It's just not the prices are growing. It's just not people coming in from different regions. The values that Dubai has set in for itself is the reason why the property is also increasing. I mean, you can safely walk at night here. Security is top notch. You can
Beautiful.
spend your money without anyone even turning their head at you or even pointing fingers at you. So all of this has kind of nurtured that growth, but you just feel like, you know, it's been temporary because of whatever waves that's been happening around the world.
Of course.
So I think it's a big shout out to Dubai, you know, the government,
The
and of
UAE.
course the market in general.
Imagine, of
Of course, the biggest factor that decides the economy here is the construction real estate market here. So if that's growing, it's good news for everyone. So
I like the way you said it, and to sum it up correctly, it's been nurtured,
yes,
right? It's not haphazard. It
Yes.
just didn't happen to us,
yes,
right? It's been thought out. It's been placed one foot before the other,
Yeah.
and it's a proper step.
it was compounding. It was
It was
compounding.
compounding.
Yeah.
That's right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've not heard anyone use that adjective in a
Yeah.
long time in this context. But yes, it is. It has been compounding. And we at Luxbridge, on behalf of my CEO John Spinu, my director, my whole team, my director Vincent, my whole team, myself, and everyone who's watching and listening, we really want your success to compound.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank
We
you.
really want you to get up there to every flight cabin, first class, and everywhere that can be possible, wherever. Ashwin, thank you for coming on our show. Okay, we are so happy to have heard your story, your journey, the way you decoded it, and the way you have split it down for us. It's been sweet.
Absolutely.
It has definitely been sweet. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
100%.
At one point in time.
100%. Looking forward to having a sweet relationship with Luxbridge as well.
Absolutely, definitely. Everyone who's watching, thank you so much for being part of the show. We are found on every major platform, YouTube and so on and so forth. So please do, you know what you have to do. Like, subscribe. Please go follow Ashwin. Please go follow us. And once again, thank you for being with us. And we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.